Hi, my name is Randy Molina, and I just wanted to start to welcome folks to the seventh speaker series event for Public Health Madison and Dane County. We're going to give it about a minute or two and let folks join, and we will get going. Go ahead and get started here. So again, I wanted to just remind folks that this event is being recorded and will be available on the Public Health Madison and Dane County website for folks to revisit later if there are any things you want to remember from this event, and then we will try to share it out as well. Again, my name is Randy Molina. I am the Response and Engagement Coordinator for the Violence Prevention Unit here at Public Health. Again, I wanted to welcome everyone to the seventh installment of the Violence Prevention Speaker Series. For those of you who have been with us before, welcome back. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, please keep an eye out for future events that we will be holding, and be sure to come back and check out some of the other partners we're going to highlight. So going into this new year, we wanted to talk about some of the new collaborations and areas of interest that relate to safety, violence prevention, and other issues that are popping up in and around Madison and Dane County. So previously, we talked with schools, we talked with domestic abuse services, folks that work with children. So again, we're trying to really highlight a lot of different areas and really highlight the work and collaborations of public health. So today we are highlighting our partnership with Madison Metro, and want to give them the opportunity to share their ideas, concerns, strategies, and a lot of different topics pertaining to transportation and transportation safety. If you have any questions as the presentation goes on, feel free to put those in the Q&A portion, in the Q&A drop down, and we'll get to them after the presentation. And when the presentation is over, we'll also open up the chat for folks who want to message with us or the panelists, and so look out for that. But now I want to introduce Maki and Jessy Stammer. Justin is the safety coordinator at Metro, and Jessy is a transit marketing and customer service manager. So with that, I will hand it over to Jessy and Justin to present.
All right, thank you, Randy. I am going to try to attempt to share my screen right now, so bear with me for a second here. I'm hoping someone can tell me when they can see it and everything looks great.
Looks good.
Looks great.
All right, awesome. So thank you all for coming. As Randy just said, my name is Jessy Stammer. I am the Marketing and Customer Service Manager here at Metro Transit. I'll be kicking off this webinar today, and then Justin will take over when I am done explaining all the fun customer service side of our business. So I'm going to start with a lot of basics that some of you may already be very familiar with, but it's always good to brush up on the basics. So I'm going to start off with just who we are, what we do, some how to ride information, and then some basic safety reminders. So we'll get started. Let's see, I think we will. There we go. All right, so Metro Transit provides bus service in the cities of Madison, Middleton, Fitchburg, Verona, and Sun Prairie. We serve residential neighborhoods, the Isthmus, schools, universities, parks, large employment centers, shopping districts, entertainment venues, so on and so forth. As you can see, this map is our current service map. So many of you may be familiar with some of what we're doing. We've been working on in the last couple of years. We are going through a complete network redesign that we'll be implementing in June of 2023. What that means, it's a complete overhaul of our transit service. So we're actually redesigning all of the routes that you see on this map and reworking it to be a more efficient and better system for our growing city and community. More information on that is going to be online at mymetrobus.com/redesign. I'm not going to go into it too much today. I'm going to focus on our current service. So if you do have questions, we can kind of briefly touch on that in the Q&A. Otherwise, you can find all the information you need online. As I stated, we do provide, in addition to our fixed route map that you just saw, we do provide supplemental school and university service. So we serve the Madison Metropolitan School District, some of those middle schools, and all of their high schools. We also partner with the University of Wisconsin to operate free transit service on campus for students, visitors, and faculty. A large portion of our ridership is student-based. If you've ridden with us before, you may have noticed that in the summer, our ridership definitely goes down and there are less people riding. And then when school is in session, we have a spike in our ridership. I also attribute that to just Madison being a very bike-friendly community. And so a lot of our riders choose to bike when it is nice out. I won't even say the summer, because sometimes like today, I will see people out when it's freezing to me, but they're bikers, so they got it handled. But I think a lot of our ridership chooses to ride their bike when it is nice, and then utilize Metro Transit when it's not so nice out. So our ridership is very much dependent on school and when school is in session. Again, I'm going to touch on our current routes and stations that we are currently operating. I'm not going to go into what we will see in a couple of months. It is also important to know that these numbers are post-COVID numbers. So I'll get into that a little bit, but currently we are operating roughly 46 routes plus the supplemental schools service. We operate on weekday and weekend and holidays. We have 5 main transfer locations throughout the city of Madison. Those are east, west, north, and south transfer points, along with our Capitol Square being a major transfer hub as well. We have over 2,500 bus stop locations throughout our service area, and we are working on making all of those accessible. And what that means is that we have concrete bus boarding pads at each one of those stops, so people in wheelchairs or with other disabilities can more easily board. Again, these are post-COVID numbers. Prior to COVID, we were running a lot more routes and we had a lot more bus stops. To give you an idea of kind of how we're doing with COVID or how we're handling COVID, our ridership numbers in 2019 were about 12.8 million rides, whereas last year, 2022, we were around 7.6 million. So we definitely are seeing an increase in ridership since COVID, but we are certainly not at that same COVID pre-COVID levels. So we're not operating as many routes as we were back in 2019. So I've boiled down how to ride Metro Transit in 3 very simple steps. First one is plan your trip. Second is choose your fare. And then, of course, catch your bus. So we'll go over each one of those. Planning your trip. Since the invention of Google and our technology has made it super, super easy to plan your trip. Some of you, I don't know, maybe it was 10 years ago now, we had a trip planning tool on our website that was almost impossible to use. Since then, planning your trip could not be easier with Google Maps. So all it takes is finding your route, stop and pickup time. You can do that easily on mymetrobus.com. We have a widget right on the front page, which I will show you in a second. You can also do that through planning your trip on Google Maps, just like you would plan your trip in your car or a walking trip. You can choose transit and plan an easy transit trip on Google Maps as well. I will also show you that. You can contact us at our customer service. Our contact information is on there as well. And you can even still go the old-fashioned way and do paper scheduling with our ride guide. If you are interested in that, I have worked here for 10 years and I still have not really figured that out. So if you can do that on paper, kudos to you. But otherwise, very easy online. Here is a screenshot of our main webpage. You'll notice right at the top there's that widget or a fancy way of saying tool. There's the plan your trip, track your bus, and a detour section. That could not make planning your trip easier. You just put your starting location, your ending location, when you want to get there, when you want to leave, and then you press plan your trip, and it takes you to Google Maps, and it gives you all the detailed information you need. We have everything else online too that you'll need, including trip planning tools, routes, maps, and schedules. We have static maps and schedules that you can print out and take with you. And we also have maps that are, more data heavy where you can zoom in. GIS, fancy GIS maps, you can zoom in more easily, see where you're going. We have all of our fare information, our live arrival information to see when your bus is coming, if it might be late. Unfortunately, if it may have already passed you. We have service announcements, anything going on in our service that day. If we're running holiday schedules or if there's an unplanned detour or something like that, you can find that in a nice red highlighted bar at the top of our webpage. We also have detour information, paratransit service information, and a lot more stuff, including like finding advertising rates online or our feedback form or whatever you need will all be there. This is a screenshot of our Google Map trip planning. Many of you may be familiar with this. You can't go wrong with this. This is actually what our own call center reps use to plan your trip. So if you call us at 266-4466 and give us this information, this is what we're using behind the scenes to give you your trip information. So super, super easy. This is a trip planned from Park Street going to Old Brick Gardens. You can see that this person will need to transfer from the 5 to the 7. It gives you exact directions on when you need to transfer, approximate timing, the exact stop ID number, how many stops you're going to pass, how far you're going to walk, about how long you're going to walk for. Super, super easy. All right, once you plan your trip, then you're going to choose your fare. We do have cash fares for adults, it's $2. The senior disabled price is $1. And then we do have, I forgot to put in here that we do have a youth fare as well. That's $1.25. We do have discounted passes and fares available for frequent riders, youth, seniors, people with disabilities, and reduced fare low-income riders. We have 2 main types of fares currently. We have the 10 ride cards, which are available in adult, youth, and senior disabled formats. Those cards are good for 10 rides or 10 trips basically at any time with free transfers. So good for 10 rides. If you're going to and from work, that'll be 2 rides out of your 10 ride card. Then you have your 31-day unlimited ride pass. They're available in adult, senior, disabled, and low income formats. Those passes are good for 31 days or unlimited rides in a 31-day period. So any 31 days, it's not calendar restricted, and you can ride as many times as you want. If you are solely relying on the bus to get around, that would be the pass that I would suggest you purchase. And then as we discussed before, the routes 80 through 84 on University campus are free to visitors, students, and employers or faculty, sorry. Buying your fare, we do only accept cash and coins, exact cash and coins on the bus the day of the trip. So we always suggest people purchase their passes and cart ahead of time before riding that day. You can purchase those online at mymetrobus.com/buy online. There's some sale outlet locations throughout our service area, grocery stores, gas stations, things like that. That list is also available online. You can stop by our office and see my smiling face and come to our office to purchase, or you can go through the mail, Metro by mail, paying with a check, and then we will send it back to you. We do have reduced fare passes. Those are a limited supply as they're subsidized by the city. Those can only be purchased at three specific locations, our Metro Admin Office, the Dane County Job Center, and the City Treasurer's Office downtown. If you are interested in learning more about that or wondering if you qualify, give us a call or go online. All of our information on that is there. On this one too, we are also going through a fare technology upgrade within the next couple of years. So I just wanted to briefly mention that we know and are very aware that this fare system that we currently operate is a little archaic, and that there is a lot better options out there, including a tap to go card or something reloadable that you can reload online. And we are looking at that and plan to have something up and running that is way more modern and more efficient, hopefully by 2024. So this having exact cash and coins and having your bus pass prior to the day of your ride, hopefully that will be just another 1.5 years of doing that, and we'll move on to something a little more modern. All right, so you plan your trip, you have your bus pass, and now you need to catch your bus. So we always suggest that people arrive to their bus stop at least 5 minutes before the bus is scheduled to arrive or leave. We do that just because things happen out on the road. Sometimes we're operating a little faster than we normally would just because traffic is lighter, and sometimes we're delayed. But it's always good to just be prepared and give yourself that 5-minute buffer. When you see your bus approaching, it's always good to give your driver a small wave. Get up and kind of show initiative that you want to get on the bus and let them know that you want to be picked up. It is practice for our drivers that they will not stop unless they see a person at a stop. So they will drive by and not serve the stop if there are no passengers looking to disembark or board. And always encouraged to track your bus too using either that online tool. There's some third-party apps. We always suggest the Transit app is a really good one that tracks the bus. There's Google Maps function also has that, or you can call our customer service center and we can tell you where your bus is at. And I think too here I should mention that another great tip beyond waving. Sometimes it's dark outside, right? And it's also good to just bring a flashlight or utilize a flashlight on your phone to wave down drivers just to make sure they see you. That's a great tip, and our drivers really appreciate it too. They've got a lot going on, so the easier you can make it on them, the better. And then also just, we live in Madison, there's going to be winter weather. There's going to be time where there are snowbanks and ice, and they might be near your stop. Please do not be a hero and try to trudge through snowbanks or anything like that. Just find a safe place to board near your bus stop and make contact with your driver as they approach. Do not try to, go up any icy hills or anything like that. But always make sure if you're not at your bus stop to really make an effort to make sure your driver sees you. All right, so when you're boarding, you need to have your fare ready. You need to ask the driver for a free transfer if needed upon boarding, so do that right away. Find a seat or a place to stand. If possible, keep the front seats open. Keep aisles clear and all personal items should fit on your lap. And of course, enjoy your ride and keep in mind the code of conduct and riding rules, which I'll get into in a little bit. When you're ready to leave, listen for the announcement for your stop. When you hear your stop is called, pull the yellow cord or push the yellow strip in the bus, as you see our wonderful model doing that there in that picture. And then wait until the bus comes to a complete stop and exit through the rear door. I have a special note on there to communicate with your driver. There are instances where you are not going to, where some people, or just sometimes you're not going to be able to exit through that rear door and you're going to need to go through the front door. When that happens, you need to communicate with your driver and let them know. My favorite example of this is when people, when riders bring their bike on the bus, they will put their bike on the front of the bus and then they'll board and get on and they will take their trip, and it might be 45 minutes later and it's time for them to exit and get their bike, but they don't communicate with their driver, so they get off the back of the bus and then the driver doesn't realize that you need your bike still and they drive away with your bike. It happens more often than you think, so always communicate with your driver if you need any special accommodations getting off the bus. All right, our rules, riding rules and code of conduct. These are the top ones that we'd like to highlight, but a full list of rules in our code of conduct is available online. So I encourage you to check that out if you are interested. The main ones are save the front seats for senior citizens and people with disabilities. There is no smoking, vaping, eating, drinking, or littering on the bus. This is a big one. Please use earphones when listening to devices, talking on the phone, that sort of thing. Do not stand in front of the yellow or white line on the designee line near the driver. Please keep aisles clear. There are no weapons on our buses, and vulgar language, boisterous behavior, and fighting is not allowed. All of our buses are equipped with accessible services, including automatic bus stop announcements that are both audible and visual. All of our buses kneel, which means they kind of go up and down in case people need assistance getting on the bus or off the bus. There are designated wheelchair securement areas. We do have a full reasonable modification process if you are needing any modifications during your rides. We allow personal care attendants to ride for free, including service animals as well. We have all of our information in accessible print formats, including alternate languages, large print, Braille, etc. And then we also offer our paratransit service. So we encourage everybody to ride fixed route if they can. However, we do have paratransit service available for those that may not be able to. So this Americans with Disabilities Act ADA paratransit service is for individuals with disabilities who cannot use Metro's accessible fixed route bus service. The paratransit service area, hours, and days of service are closely matched to our fixed route schedules. So on a day where we may end fixed route service at 6 p.m., our paratransit service will also end at 6 p.m. Metro Paratransit is a shared ride service that uses a variety of companies and vehicles to respond to individual ride requests. Those determined eligible for the service are prevented from getting to or from a bus stop or riding a bus. This may include someone with physical, sensory, and/or intellectual disabilities. Those interested in paratransit services do have to go through an application and assessment process. If you want more information on that, again, please call or look online. Everything is there for you. And there are also several other transportation services available in Dane County that may better fit people's needs. This is a shared ride service, and so rides can get long. And that sometimes doesn't work for everybody. And so we always encourage people to contact Dane County Transportation Services to see other options. And this is my favorite slide. This is our driver, Muhammad. And this is just a reminder that your driver is here for you. They are your ally. If you ever have any concerns, you're feeling uncomfortable, you have safety issues, anything like that, please know that you can go and talk to your driver. They have dispatch readily available on their phone. They can also pull over if needed, stop the bus, whatever they need to do in any situation. And I like to tell people too that we have a fast track to 911 services. Of course, that's not stopping you. If you're on a bus and you feel like you need to call 911, you can definitely do so. But if you go to your driver, we have a faster track of getting help. So always know that that's available to you. There also is the Metro Customer Service Center. So there might be situations where you're not comfortable going up to your driver, or you want to stay anonymous, or whatever that reason may be. You can always call the Customer Service Center as well. So you can come in person to our administration office. We are located at 1245 East Washington Avenue, Suite 201. So Metro Transit kind of spans an entire block. One side on Ingersoll Street is where our garage is. And then down by Baldwin and East Washington is where our admin office is. We are open 7:30 to 4:30 p.m. on weekdays. This is also where our Lost and Found office is located, as well as where you can purchase tickets and any other in-person customer service. I also always encourage our riders to please save our number in your phone. You will never know when you may need it. It is 266-4466. Our call center is open 365 days a year. On weekdays, we are open from 6:15 to 6 p.m. And then weekends and holidays, we have people available from 8 to 4:30 p.m. They can give you help on trip planning, bus locations, feedback, questions, safety concerns, literally anything we can try to help you. And then you can always leave us feedback too using our online form. That's at mymetrobus.com/feedback. And these are the things that we ask that you report. If you're out in the public, if you're riding the bus, and maybe if you're not even riding the bus, these are the things we still want to hear from you. Our biggest thing is if you see something, say something. Justin will get into this a little bit more, but if there's something doesn't look right, please just let us know. There is no harm in reporting anything that you see. So if you see something, say something to us. That includes, but is not limited to, suspicious activity, persons, or packages, any unruly passengers, safety or security concerns, any unsafe driving that you notice, unsatisfactory customer service from any of our staff. And of course, I have to remind people that they can also send in compliments. Our drivers, particularly all of our staff, but our drivers in particular, they are doing a lot on the road each and every day. They have a big job ahead of them, and they are really used to hearing the negative, unfortunately. And so it is always great if we can give them some compliments. So if you see good driving, if you see good customer service, please let us know, and we will pass that along to our drivers. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Justin Maki, and he can go over the agency safety plan.
Thanks, Jessy. Once again, I'm Justin Maki. I'm the safety coordinator here at Metro. I'm going to touch on things related to safety, security, and emergency preparedness. So first portion in our agency safety plan, it is a federally mandated plan for an agency of our size, and it can also, we also refer to as a safety management system, which is a comprehensive collaborative approach to safety that brings management employees together to build on what we already had as a safety foundation here at Metro and throughout the transit industry. So it really helps us control risk better, detect and correct safety problems earlier. So somewhat of a, or more of a proactive approach to correcting or detecting safety problems. share and analyze safety data more effectively to, ensure that our safety management system is operating correctly, and then measuring safety performance more carefully. Next. So there are 4 pillars to our plan here at Metro. The first portion being safety management policy, 2, safety risk management, 3, safety assurance, and 4, safety promotion. Next. So within the safety management policy section, we have a statement here that is made. And basically what it means and what it talks about in this section is that we're absolutely committed to the safety of our employees, customers, and protecting our assets. Safety is absolutely a top priority. It's not something we're going to do just once in a while or on the side. We're going to bring safety into everything that we do. Next. Under safety risk management portion or pillar, this is where we, receive employee or customer reports, incident accident reports, safety inspections, and we identify safety concerns or hazards, however you want to call them. And then we take a look at them a little bit further and we dig into them and start to assess risk by determining the likelihood and severity of each hazard, utilizing a risk assessment matrix. So everything will get assessed, gets a risk score, then we prioritize risk based on its likelihood and severity, whether it's low, medium, or high risk. From there, we look at reducing or eliminating the consequences related to each hazard by deploying mitigation strategies, or, best case scenario is eliminating the hazard or safety concern. Within the safety assurance portion, this is really where we determine whether or not the things that we are doing are working. So this is where we're continuously monitoring and evaluating the progress of our safety system. We do that through field observations, customer feedback, new employee and refresher training, ride checks, internal audits, and reviews of system safety performance. Within the safety promotion pillar, we recognize safety as a core value. This is really a huge portion where we do a ton of training for our employees within certain safety principles and allowing open communications of safety issues. Help to create that positive safety culture generated from the top down. The actions, attitudes, and decisions at the policymaking level must demonstrate genuine commitment to safety. Safety must be recognized as the responsibility of each employee, with the ultimate responsibility for safety resting with our accountable executive for our safety management plan. Lastly, employees must trust that they will have management support for decisions made in the interests of safety, while also recognizing that intentional breaches of safety will not be tolerated. Some ways that we communicate and trainings that we do, newsletters, internal mailbox, we do in-person meetings. I've even done a couple of open Zoom meetings that are open to the public, where we've talked about topics like de-escalation and threat awareness. We have bulletin board postings, we use electronic displays, text messages, mediated roundtable discussions during annual refresher trainings with our staff, and quarterly talks with myself and sometimes with Madison Police Department as well. Training, our operator new hire training is a 13 to 15 week training that of course incorporates safety and security related training. We have people going for their transportation safety and security program certificate. We utilize the Transportation Safety Institute instructors course for our transit trainers. Our maintenance team goes through new hire and refresher training, and along with ongoing training on new technology. Now, Jessy talked a little about our paratransit contractors. They're also required to maintain an employee safety training program. From emergency preparedness standpoint, it is absolutely the objective Metro Transit to provide a safe, secure, and reliable service for its passengers and employees. We do that through, a number of collaborations we have with local agencies and taking a proactive approach, but also through many of our preparedness plans, like our system security emergency preparedness plan. We have a security emergency response plan, critical incident response team and plan, and then our continuity of operations plan. As far as security is concerned, for those of you that do ride out there, you'll see that we do not have, like some other agencies throughout the country, we do not have security personnel on the buses or a transit police department. But we do have cameras on our buses, at our transfer points, and in and around all of our facilities. The absolute best thing to do when riding is to talk to your driver. I know Jessy touched on this a little bit, but again, it is the absolute best way. If there is a situation going on or something that could be happening sooner than later, it's best to reach out to your driver at the transfer point, when you get on the bus, or whatever it is, but the driver can communicate to the appropriate persons, including emergency responders and Metro Road supervisors. So again, we say, we go back to, if you see something, to please say something. And that's, whether it's the driver that's readily available, if you need to use your phone to make a call to 911, or whether it's calling our customer service line. So talked a little about our proactive collaborations. We do have many agencies that we work with on the state, local, state, and federal level, from obviously Madison Police Department, Madison Fire, Wisconsin DOT, Federal Transit Transportation Security Administration, and then the Federal Transit Administration as well. The one I want to touch on here is that we have a team called 4M, which we'll actually have to probably make that into 5M shortly. But that team includes a member of the mayor's office, a member of Madison Police Department, a member from Madison Metropolitan School District, obviously Madison Metro, and just recently we added a member from Public Health Madison Dane County. So we meet consistently throughout the year. We talk about a number of different things related to safety and security throughout our transit system, but the overall focus, I would say, is on our transfer points and high school and middle school transports. So generally, we will meet a lot more frequently during the July, August, and September months and into the school year, to see how we're doing and see how the things that we have worked on are doing. And I also wanted to mention, we do touch on the transfer points. We do station Madison police officers at our transfer points at certain times throughout the day. So we do offer some form of a transit security at some of our transfer points as well. Lastly, I just wanted to add, the operation and maintenance of Metro Transit requires a continual emphasis on security, from the procurement of new systems and equipment, through the hiring and training of our employees, to the management of the agency and the provision of service. It's a constant effort. It's continuous. Always looking forward and making sure that we are up to date on all of our plans, up to date on new technologies, anything that can help us be better and keep our system safe and secure.
Okay, Randy, I think we're ready for the Q&A portion.
Thank you guys for that. Yeah, so I'm gonna also open up the chat for folks that might want to engage in the chat area as well. All right, so just to start us off with the Q&A portion. So one you touched a little bit on using, where the buses are used, on campus, with schools. you know, in your experience, what are some of the most important steps that parents can take or do to keep children safe on those metro like school buses?
I would say one of the biggest and easiest ways to ensure that your child is safe is to make sure they understand that the driver is their friend. Their driver is there for them. I think we get a lot of students that are intimidated by this process, right? Especially as a middle schooler, and just having them understand that there is an adult on the bus that they can trust, I think is huge. It would also be helpful, I think, to walk with them the first day of school to make sure they understand the process, the boarding process, and the alighting process, and just showing them that it is quite easy. Justin?
No, I absolutely agree. You know, it's anything from getting the student to talk to the driver about something that may be happening already or could be coming up that they've heard talk about, or having them speak to a school administrator, you know, about a situation that's on the bus, so that we can get that communication to the right people, you know, of course, and then, you know, work through whatever the issue might be.
All right. So we actually have a question in the chat that kind of along the same lines. Ariel asks, what is a serious incident and how many occur each year on average?
Well, I can't get into how many would happen each year. You know, a serious incident is going to be any type of, you know, there might be some type of injury involved, or, you know, it could be emotional related too. We would consider any of those, you know, type of incidents to be a critical to us, and would escalate it to the right personnel.
All right, I think Melinda has a couple questions that she would want to share. So Melinda, why don't you go ahead?
Thank you, and I'll take advantage of the fact that I could just do my screen. I had two questions. One kind of relates to some of the safety, especially maybe around young people that you were just talking about, but just regarding the transfer points and when there's MPD officers there, is that like advertised or notified anywhere? Is there anywhere I could look like as a parent saying, because those transfer points are sometimes a bit unnerving if they're going to have to use the bus. I live on the far east side, so then there is going through the transfer points, that I could look and say, I know that there's security at these times or on these routes, or is that advertised anywhere?
Not to my knowledge, Jessy, I don't believe that it is posted anywhere.
No, unfortunately, it's not a standard schedule either. We work with MPD, and all of that, I believe, is overtime offered to the officers. So it's not a standard. We get it when we can take it kind of thing, but it's not a standardized time. We also center it towards when we have seen incidents or increases in incidences in the past. So around that September, October, Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, but around that time, we try to staff transfer points with officers when we have seen an increase in incidences in the past.
Thank you. And I did have another question, slightly unrelated. So first I'll ask Randy if there's something related in the chat or the Q&A. I didn't look. Oh. And we can maybe let Yannette with a raise. Somebody has a raised hand. It might be related then. I'll hold my other question.
Let me, yeah, well, actually, go ahead, Melinda, with your question.
My other question, again, it's slightly a different topic. I wrote it down while you were going through the training, and it did seem like there's quite extensive amount of training, but I was wondering, like, more specifically, I know you both have mentioned that the driver is there to support the riders. The driver sort of can be a trusted adult. What kind of specific trainings have the drivers had? I mean, are there trainings around mental mental health concerns or safety or physical emergency concerns or other things like that. I'm just kind of curious more specifically what kind of trainings the drivers have had.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the 13 to 15 week, depending on, you know, how you're going through the training, and if you're picking up on things really quickly, the fastest we've seen is 13 weeks. It's all encompassing. I mean, it talks about emergency procedures, safety, you know, what to do in this scenario and things like that. It's classroom, it's on the road. You know, I can tell you that it covers all that. It's really extensive. And then on top of that, we do, you know, our annual refresher training so that we're constantly, you know, refreshing our staff, the operators on, you know, anything that's new or just anything that we feel that is, you know, should probably be, you know, kind of refreshed with the staff.
All of our staff is also dementia friendly training. They've all gone through that training. And Justin, to his credit, since you've worked here for 2 years now, I believe, somewhere around
one
there.
in 3 months.
1 and 3. Okay. Time doesn't mean anything after COVID. So 1 and 3 months, but in his time here, he has really helped with de-escalation training, which is something he's been focusing on. And I think that we've needed for a long time. So he's gone through and all of our drivers have gone through that training.
Yep.
But yeah, I believe all of our staff, including our call center, has been through dementia friendly training as well.
Thank you.
All right, so we do have a question in the chat from Yanet about the information about the staff-led meeting. I believe she's maybe referring to the 4M meeting about who is there who is there and the types of things being talked about.
Yeah, so like I said, it's a member from the mayor's office. Madison Police Department has one representative. Metro, we have some ops managers, myself. I believe that's it. Maybe one of our chief operations officer. And then who am I missing here? The school district safety from the School of Safety. And then Randy, you have just recently joined us from Public Health. Again, we really talk about the issues that come up, generally transfer points. And this is where we go over our strategies on, you know, when can we get police officers there, or what other things can we do to assist in areas that, you know, might need a little more help or seeing some more incidents. And then we talk about school-related incidents, you know, how we responded to them or what we can do better from a school age rider situation.
I do want to mention, since it's come up a couple of times, but we are getting rid of our transfer points with this network redesign coming in June. We will no longer have dedicated transfer stations like we do now. Our service is just going to run a little differently. And so that will be a big change. And I'm sure it's something we will talk about in upcoming 4M meetings. But that things will be changing in that sense.
All right, and something that you know, that also came up in the chat just now, and I think it kind of relates to another of our Q&A questions, just about violence prevention and injury prevention strategies going into 2023. You know, and sort of what might be some key partners in that. So in the chat, you know, there is this question about adding other organizations that are working around like mental health issues like CARES, and also community members that might have, you know, different takes on safety as it relates to buses and transfer points and things of that nature. So I guess just overall, sort of going into 2023, do you feel like there is room for expansion in some of those areas?
Absolutely. And I know, just like you mentioned, the CARES unit has come up. I know it's been discussed. as far as other agencies, I'm not sure at this time. Jessy, I don't know if you have any other thoughts on that. Yeah, but no, I know the CARES unit has come up. We've used the CARES unit before. They've been fantastic working with them. And so if anybody, wants to discuss that further, they can certainly get a hold of me, and I don't, through Metro. And we can talk about that moving forward.
I also think just us being here today and working with Randy and the crime and violence prevention team is a big step in the right direction. I've been with Metro now for 10-ish years, and we've always been very reactionary to things like this rather than preventative. And I think with the addition of both Justin and having a dedicated safety coordinator on our team, along with us partnering with Randy, I'm very hopeful that we can move from a less reactionary to a more preventative strategy going forward. And if that includes more partnerships, that we are very open to that, especially as, we have a lot of big projects going on, like the network redesign and BRT and all of that. So I think this is an opportune time for us to start exploring that prevention strategy.
Thank you for that. Yeah, and just to add my own little thing to that. Yeah, I think that there's an opportunity for more collaboration and just more planning to get ahead of things that potentially will pop up and things that we've seen throughout 2022 also. So I look forward to that collaboration as well. Another question. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So that is Justin Maki. He is the safety coordinator for Metro. Just a question in the chat about Justin's name and so not seeing any other questions in the Q&A portion. I just want to remind folks that this recording will be available on our public health website, and we will try to share it out to folks that were here today, just so that you can sort of go back and see the presentation again. Just waiting to see if there are any more questions coming through. If not, we might be able to just end a little bit early here and give folks some time back in their day. All right. Well, not seeing any other questions. I want to thank Justin and Jessy for being part of this speaker series event. I know that it is a lot of extra work, but as part of our violence prevention strategies, we just want to really engage with community members and just get as much information as we can out to the public around a variety of topics. And I think transportation is a major part of everyone's daily life. So obviously having the more information, the better. And we're all, safer for it. So again, I want to thank you guys for being with us today. I want to thank all our participants, all our attendees for being here today. And again, you'll be able to find this recording on the Public Health Madison and Dane County website in the violence prevention page.
Thank you, Randy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Everyone have a great day.